In the world of Dark Souls 3, power is never given. It is taken. Kingdoms rise and fall. Gods are worshipped and forgotten, and men will do anything to control what remains. But among them all, there was one man who reshaped everything. Pontiff Sulyvahn, a scholar turned tyrant, a man who seized control of Irithyll and bent it to his will. He did not inherit power, he took it. But what if he never did? What if Sulyvahn never rose to power, never corrupted Irithyll, never imprisoned the gods, and never set the world further into chaos? Would anything truly change, or was this world already doomed? To understand this world, we have to understand what Sulyvahn actually did. He rose from a scholar of the profane flame to the ruler of Irithyll of the Boreal Valley, transforming it into something far darker than it once was. Under his rule, the city became a place of control, where loyalty was enforced and power was absolute. He imprisoned Dark Sun Gwendolyn, not just removing a god, but symbolically ending the old order that had defined the Age of Fire for so long. In doing so, he replaced divine authority with his own, reshaping faith itself into something hollow and controlled. He twisted loyal knights into beasts, creating monsters like the Vort of the Boreal Valley and the Dancer of the Boreal Valley, turning symbols of honor into reminders of his cruelty. Those were not mindless creations. They were broken people, stripped of their humanity and forced into servitude. And through his influence, he ensured the rise of Aldrich, the Devourer of Gods, enabling one of the most horrifying transformations in the entire world. Sulyvahn did not just rule, he reshaped the very structure of power, faith, and identity. Everything he touched became something else, something worse. Without Pontiff Sulyvahn, the first and most immediate change is Irithyll itself. The city remains untouched, still shining under the moonlight, a reflection of the old world that has not yet fallen into tyranny. Its beauty is no longer deceptive. It is real, or at least closer to what it once was. Anor Londo stands as it once did, and the gods are not overthrown. Dark Sun Gwendolyn is never imprisoned, never devoured, and the illusion of the divine rule continues unchallenged. The people still look to the gods for guidance, still believe in something greater than themselves. The Knights of Irithyll remain human, uncorrupted by the Pontiff's influence. Vort, once a noble knight, would have never been twisted into the monster that stalks the city today. He would have remained a protector of Irithyll, a steadfast guardian of the people rather than the terror instilling fear. The Dancer, who was stripped of her humanity and transformed into a tragic symbol of grace turned horror, would have retained her solemn elegance. She would still perform her sacred duties, inspiring awe rather than dread, a living testament to devotion and skill. Without Sulyvah's corruption, their strength and beauty remained true to their original purpose, not wrapped into instruments of oppression. Even Aldrich's faith begins to shift. Without Sulyvah's guiding events, Aldrich, the Devourer of Gods, may never rise in the same way, may never devour the gods, and may never become what we know him to be. One of the greatest horrors of this world may never fully take shape, and for a moment, it seems like everything has been corrected. The chaos is gone, the corruption is absent, and the world feels stable, but that feeling does not last. Even though Dark Souls has some amazing atmospheres and some beautiful scenery, sometimes looks can be deceiving, because beneath it all, nothing has truly changed. The fire is still fading. No matter who rules, no matter who lives or dies, the first flame continues to weaken, slowly but inevitably. This was never Sulyvah's doing. Long before him, this fate was sealed by Gwen, the first Lord of Cinder. when he linked the fire and created a cycle that was never meant to last. A temporary solution became an endless loop, one that demands sacrifice but never offers resolution. Without Sulyvahn, the truth becomes even clearer. There is no tyrant to blame, no corruptions to point to, no single figure responsible for the world's decline. The suffering is quieter, less visible, but no less real. Instead of a world torn by cruelty, we are left with a world that is slowly collapsing under its own weight. The gods weaken gradually, their powers fading not through violence, but through time. The knights remain loyal, but their loyalty is misplaced, tied to something that can no longer be sustained. And the people continue believing in something that is already gone, holding on to a light that no longer truly exists. Without Pontiff Sulyvahn, the Ashen One's journey changes most significantly in Irithyll and beyond. The city is no longer under the control of a tyrant, and more importantly, the path to Anor Londo leads to a very different destination. Without Sulyvahn, Aldridge may never become a Lord of Cinder, and without him elevating him, Dark Sun Gwendolyn is never devoured. In Dark Souls 3, Anor Londo is quiet, cold, and nearly empty. The grand city from Dark Souls feels abandoned. The gold warmth is gone, replaced by moonlight and silence. The gods have vanished, and what remains is only a shadow of what it once was. But if Gwendolyn still rules, Anor Londo may resemble something closer to its former self. Not the vibrant city filled with gods and knights that we saw in Dark Souls 1, but something in between what we have now and what once was. The illusion of the glory may still remain, the great halls may still feel guarded, the city may not feel abandoned, but rather fading, holding on to its former power instead of already having it lost. The Silver Knights may still stand watch, the cathedral may still feel sacred instead of corrupted, and instead of climbing towards the devourer of gods, the Ashen One may approach one of the last remaining rulers of the old world. This changes the tone of the journey. Instead of witnessing the violent fall of Anor Londo, the Ashen One witnesses its slow decline, and a kingdom still standing, but certainly nearing its end. Without Pontiff Sulyvahn, without Aldridge, the Ashen One does not arrive at a city already consumed. Instead, they arrive at one that is still fading.